guys, welcome to Spirit Box Paranormal, and today we're in the city of Edinburgh and we're going to take you all on a wee tour. Yeah. Stay tuned, we'll see you soon.
Well, you cannot put it up, I think it's £5.
We're going on the bus, so just gaze a wee look at where we are, like a tower kind of thing. Catch up with everybody else. Ooh. At the very back there is the castle. I'll be going there tomorrow, so we'll be putting all this video together. This is beautiful, look at this. It's like a beautiful place.
I know.
Beautiful, you're beautiful, it's true. She's waiting on another bus. She's going to get another bus. Hold on. Mum! What's your gran like? Yeah. She just goes away and stands at another bus. When we're doing the Nurry Street overnight vaults, it's just basically over there. That was an overnight investigation 5 years ago, believe it or not. Cheers, Lizzie. We're going on the bus. Going on the bus. Okay. Cheers, pal. Thank you. And we're going on. Go on, Aldian, go up the stairs.
We anticipate a journey time of 1 hour 15 minutes, depending on how the traffic pans out. You don't need to do it all, it's hop on, hop off. I'll let you know the stops on the way around. Up here you need to give me a nice clear wave if you wish to leave, and downstairs you need to press a bell push. Getting back on, the hopping on bit, you need to be at an appropriate bus stop. We've got a green logo at the only places we're allowed to stop. It's also very helpful if you stick your hand out nice and clearly, because we often share those bus stops with some of our sister bus companies here in Edinburgh. The bus comes round every 12 minutes till just before 5 o'clock tonight, dropping down to a 20-minute frequency after that, with the last bus at 10 to 6 tonight, 10 to 6 tonight. Please don't stand as you head around for your own safety. It's absolutely no disparagement of David's driving skills. He's got pieces of paper and pieces of card that prove he is professional, whereas most of the folks in Edinburgh's roads do not. No smoking, no vaping, no alcohol consumption, please. And if you could switch off your mobile phones, or at the very least put them on to mute. We really don't want any calls while we're going around, if you don't mind, out of consideration for your fellow travellers. We are not a museum piece, we are not a Taj Mahal or a pyramid or a Great Barrier Reef. We are a modern, bustling town, and to remain modern we do need to modernise and redevelop. Of course, the conservationists are never happy when we lose part of our heritage in doing so, and it's always trying to find that balance between the modernists and the conservationists, and to be honest, probably there isn't one. We have to compromise, and sometimes folks aren't willing to do. I heard about the Cotton Hill area. The upturned telescope style monument is the Nelson Monument that commemorates Trafalgar. Hence the Nelson Monument. And ahead left, another victory commemorated by the guy on the horse, Sir Arthur Wellesley, later elevated to his better known position as the first Duke of Wellington. He and the horse, the very brave Copenhagen, were at Waterloo in 1815. The horse really was instrumental in that victory, because without the horse being brave and steadfast, I don't think the Duke would have been able to control his troops quite as effectively as he did. So the horse deserves all the accolades. In fact, when it died, unfortunately sometime after the battle, it was given a full military funeral. which I think was effectively the ultimate touch of respect that Duke paid the lovely piece. So Waterloo Place uniquely links into that victory. It also provides us supposedly with a grander entrance and exit to the east end of our city centre.
It gives you a good breeze because it's roasted.
So coming into view on the front right horizon there, the Queen's Park, or sometimes known as Holyrood Park, one of the largest urban parks in Europe at 1 square mile. The tall point is the famous Arthur's Seat, about 830 feet. Why it bears that name is open to debate. There are lots of possibilities, there are lots of suggestions, none of them specifically proven. So you just go along with whatever one seems best for you, to be honest. Number 2 stop just round the corner. Yep, can we take number 2 when we get round, Dave, please? Thank you. Good man, yes. So we're stopping at 2, folks, don't worry about that. We'll get round the corner in a wee moment for you. So there's controversy in the heritage site down there on the right. The medieval old town of Edinburgh is now being subsumed by the modern structures. The modernists, as they make that economic argument correctly. The conservationists are absolutely horrified by this, as you can perhaps imagine. And I think that's also exemplified by the state of this building on the left here, the old Royal High School of 1829 falling apart. Again, it's all because we haggle and haggle again. We cannot get consensus on where to go with this. And look at the state of it. If we don't get our act together soon, or pull the proverbial finger out soon, this poor building is going to disappear. It's going to collapse if we're not careful. It hasn't been used for 50 years. Down in the valley, you can just see the Palace of Holyroodhouse with the flagpole. There's the Abbey, still a reasonable glimpse, despite the leaves coming on the trees now. The Abbey is the official residence of the Queen here in Scotland, and she must spend 7 nights here in any given calendar year, otherwise she would lose that residential status. So essentially it's a matter of coming up here whether she likes it or not. The bulk of the palace structure is late 17th century, the time of Charles II. That was the restoration of the monarchy. And that was really a statement in kind that basically said, look, we're back here to stay, we're going to be permanent. So we're going to head down that way very soon. Number 3 stop on our tour, Palace of Holyroodhouse and those Abbey ruins. And across the road, the Scottish Parliament, so number 3. This is the main railway line down to London, and 3.5 years ago we reopened a lovely section of the Scottish Borders Railway. If you've got time for a wee jaunt down there, it's only about an hour each way. It's a lovely, lovely countryside if you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city for the day. So number 3 stop, Palace of Holyroodhouse. Palace entrance ahead left at the wide roadway there. Quite simply, it's a remarkable survivor so close to this busy, busy road. If you glance left as you cross the junction, you'll see the oldest bits of the palace still standing. These towers go back to the 1530s and 40s, and Mary, who we were talking about, had her apartments there, with the Queen of Scots on the 2nd level in the 1560s. Just a wee bit ahead left here, the old stable block for the palace, today's tea room. So we're heading into that parkland area we saw from on high. Great walks, great views here. Just take care of yourselves. It's kind of steep and it's unfenced as well. Sitting on the right here,
Andy, Steve, we need to climb that ASAP.
For the whole of Scotland. This is geology neatly dissected into nice bite-sized chunks. It makes geology understandable, it makes geology fun. Kids are brought here during the school term. They have an absolute ball. They pull the levers, they press the buttons, they get shivered about with Earth's forces. They stick their fingers in other horrible stuff. Of course, they have a lot of fun. So geology becomes cool rather than something to worry about or something that's too big to grasp. So it's our number 4 stop. We're coming round to that in a couple of minutes. Number 4 stop, aerodynamic. Yep, can we take that one please, Dave? That'd be very nice of you. Thank you. This was the Millennium Project, well, it still is the Millennium Project in Scotland. I suppose that says it's all.
That's what you call extreme capture. Extremely close capture.
That's down to their technological and their marketing people. The whole thing's constantly updated, scenarios constantly changed as well. It used to be a brewery, or at least the stores of a brewery.
On the heads, mate.
There were 6 breweries here. This area was an ISO coming up 30 years ago. And when the breweries were demolished, they rebuilt it. As you can see, it's all pretty new here. So in a very generous gesture, when the stores were demolished, Scottish and Newcastle very kindly donated this land to Edinburgh City Council, and the main condition of all that was that it was used for the public good. And I think that we felt that our Millennium Project neatly ticked that specific conditional box. So up ahead of us, the Scottish Parliament complex, a mixture of old and new. The older element, 17th century, Queensberry House. The new part, very much this century. The older element is looking rather nice, and it's not just looking pretty because we've got a World Heritage Site. It's looking good because we maintain it as part of our Parliament. Thank you. The easiest one to pick on from the bus here is the big slabs by the windows. These represent curtains symbolically drawn aside to give us open and transparent Parliament forevermore. Just front left, the building with the large windows used to house the Scotsman newspaper towards the end of, the start of the millennium. Today, as you can probably see, if you're into your video games, you'll probably be delighted to see it's Rockstar North in there. I know nothing about video games, I have to admit, but even I've heard of Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead.
Started in Dundee. Our hometown.
The land ahead of us used to be Crown property under the control of whoever the reigning monarch was, and that's exemplified by these painted little red crowns just ahead of us left and right. The structure on the left here looks a bit like a castle. It is Victorian, so it obviously can't be a castle, it's far too late. However, it was put up at the instigation of Queen Victoria. It was her way of disguising the brewery when she was looking out from her rather grand palace. So looking ahead as we turn, the lovely ornamental ironwork on the gates of the palace is superb. It's worth having a wee extra look at that if you're in the area on foot. And also the columns to the left hand side, that's England's lion, proud or rampant in the heraldic sense. And over to the right, Scotland's unicorn. You'll note there's a chain entwined around the torso of the unicorn. and at some point that chain has a broken link, or maybe a completely missing link, and that symbolises our freedom, our escape from any kind of slavery. The Parliament on the left here, free to go into, not open tomorrow, mind, not on a Sunday, but free to go into. It's lovely inside, whatever you think of the exterior, inside's lovely. It's never off the telly at the moment, you probably see it day and daily because of the political struggles we're currently in.
G36s.
But it's light, it's airy, there's a good bookshop, there's a decent coffee shop, which isn't overly expensive for the centre of the town. At this point, Dave's going to bring us on to the most famous street in Edinburgh, probably, the Royal Mile. It doesn't exist physically, it's only a name, a collective name for 5 streets that do exist. A palace here at the foot, a grand old castle at the top, and the mile in between is not a mile that you're used to, it's an old sports mile, which is roughly 220 yards or a furlong in excess of the usual mile. So this is one of the 5 elements. This is called Cannon Gate. This was a separate royal borough right through until 1856. So only then did it actually become part of Edinburgh. It's Cannon's Walk and Cannon's Gate. So number 5 stops shortly for the Cannon Gate element of the Royal Mile. Number 5 shortly. Museum of Edinburgh and People's Story Museum, 2 of the 3 ones also. Getting another shop, thanks Dave. Nothing up top. Downstairs, mind the bell, push to read. Number 5 shortly. So we've got the lovely cherry blossom just come out there, a whiff of wind and that lot will be on the pavement, I'm afraid. It's a crying shame. So hopefully we'll have some still days. In on the right, the Canongate Kirk of 1688. Used by royalty these days because it serves Holyrood as well as the Canongate area. Sarah Phillips got married there some 8 years ago nearly. She's the Queen's granddaughter, the Princess Royal's lass. Just to the right, the Canongate toll booth, effectively the town hall for the former borough. Claiming to be the oldest building in this part of the Royal Mile at 1590. Whether it is or not is debatable, because on my immediate left here, or on our immediate left here, we're looking at 1570, so it's almost kind of a bit of a 55. Ahead left here, Murray House of 1625. This is where Oliver Cromwell resided at the tail end of the 1640s. This was that period of no monarchy, it was a republican period. And Cromwell was in charge, designated Lord Protector. So that justified all his evil doings over his period in office. It's not me that's killing you and mutilating you and all your troops and etc. It's the will of the Lord. It's not going to be So we mentioned about the Canongate being a separate royal borough. Edinburgh came down to the junction, we're now approaching. The walls of the city would have impeded our progress at this point.
Good luck.
Back in Edinburgh Port, one of the 6 gates into the town was here. So we leave the Canongate, we enter what was the walled town of Edinburgh, and we approach the High Street part of the Royal Mile in number 6.
Here's my pub.
Seems to be an all again up top. Dave. Oh, sorry, late call. Sorry, Dave. So the high street element of the Royal Mile continues up ahead of us through this junction. We're not able to go up there due to the fact that officially it's pedestrianised, although sometimes you can hardly believe that. Sometimes it's a little vehicles get in there. So ahead left, the tall steeple of the old Tron Kirk, going back to the 1630s. It's always just been in the way of the road and widenings and improvements here. So much so that there's very little of it left. It hasn't been used as a church way back 1952. So as we turn, that lovely dome structure ahead of us, I always find it quite impressive. It's the old College of Edinburgh University, 1789, and even though it's got the plastic sheeting on the bulk of it, it still catches the eye. It's impressive Georgian architecture from this viewpoint, and also if you do go into the quadrangle internally, it's absolutely gorgeous in there. So just to prove this is a bridge, you'll maybe see there's a wee gap left and right. So the only one of the 19 arches actually exposed. So we're going to make a right here, we're going to head towards the wonderful National Museum of Scotland, stop number 7.
Scotland!
It's free, it's tremendous, it's comprehensive, it takes a week to see it all. We seem to be going for a no again. I think they've tapped a road, I know. The museum covers every aspect of Scotland you can probably think about. Everything from robots to embroidery, steam engines to fashion. So it comprises two very different elements. So this is the old Royal Museum on our left here, 1861, and ahead of us the rebuilt rounded structure of the National Museum. You couldn't possibly do it all in one visit unless I sort of get across. Do sort of carve it up into 2 or 3 themes that you particularly like and try and do them, because there's just too much to do in a single visit. Was Jock Gray, the local night watchman here. He passed away in 1858, and by some miracle the dog outlived him by no less than 14 years. So every day the dog would wander into the graveyard ahead of us currently and seek out his master's grave and lie astride it, doubtless whimpering and whining for his lost master. There's a statue of the dog you'll see. There's a wee girl in a white top, isn't there anymore. There's a wee girl in a dotted top trying to climb up. She'll probably fall off if she's not careful. Please stop rubbing the nose, for heaven's sakes, the council's not very happy. I don't know why you're doing that. It's stuck there for, I don't know, 40 odd years and nobody touched it now. That's silly wee girls up there. Oh goodness, they're all out today. That's the cute version of the dog. The actual dog's a long-haired, untidy, unkempt looking animal and domestically useless. So the breed's on the verge of becoming extinct. There's only about 40 or 50 puppies being born annually. There are several hundred of the breed dying annually, so by definition it's not going to be living much longer. So the dog, our dog anyway, Bobby, spawned a never-ending industry, particularly of books and postcards, probably DVDs as well. There was a Disney film in '61 and a remake in 2006. The remake in 2006 starred James Cosmo, the well-known actor, Scots actor, and they used West Highland Terriers at that time, simply again reflecting perhaps the lack of Skye Terriers. there is a central campus of Edinburgh University. 1583, thus making it the oldest university by a long way in the town. We have 4 today. The building with the round windows is McEwan Hall, where Edinburgh University students graduate. McEwan's the Brewers funded its construction, so I suppose you could say it was self-funded indirectly by the students. The old Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh used to be ahead left. These turreted structures now listed for conservation purposes because Florence Nightingale designed the interior of the wards. The Oddfellows Hall on the right, the Irish Bar, now is where Enrico Caruso sang his last concert. He went home shortly after, I'm afraid, died. So we're going to make a pretty tight left turn here. The dog will appear for a second time, again on your right hand side.
Left. Yeah. See where the yard? Right there. See the women that's got thingy? It's right there. Right on this corner here.
So dog again.
Right on the corner.
So we're going to head down to number 8 stop, Grassmarket, number 8.
Did you get it?
Right, I'm guessing I know up top Dave, but you know how that's working out. So Grassmarket here simply reflects that anything with 4 legs and that ate grass was traded here for well over 400 years.
See this wall here, Karen? This is actually made from human bones.
Space of any size in the old town. So anything, any kind of gathering or meetings had to be held here. There was nowhere else.
That wall back is made of human bones.
Public hangings, it was a feature of the Grassmarket as well. Many of the inns and the pubs here reflect the age of the trading. Many of these are hundreds of years old. In fact, the White Hart Inn is no less than 500 years old. As you can see, it's a popular. Once we get down to the end of the building line here, you'll be rewarded with a stunning castle view. It's a view that I've seen thousands and thousands of times. It's a view I never tire of. It's a view that changes with the weather conditions. Maybe that's why it's so attractive. It's also a view that you might not really initially or obviously associate with the castle. This is not the side that seems to see the publicity or the guidebooks or the postcards. So this could be your own special view perhaps. It's looking pretty good with this kind of weather about, must admit.
Castle.
Sometimes it's cold looking, sometimes it's misty and foreboding, but today it's got its happy face on. Edinburgh probably saw its beginnings up there around 3,000 years ago. We reckon wandering tribes were desperately looking for somewhere to settle in safety, and I think the Castle Rock was the ultimate in that regard. Not surprisingly, things have changed a lot over 3,000 years. So what we call a castle is a misnomer. It's not a castle really. It's been a fort, it's been a palace, it's been a prison, a munitions store, a barracks, a place of worship, a place of memorial. So not really just a castle. And that means equally I would suggest that we're unable to date it as a castle, because it's a more than one use over those 3,000 years later. So we're going to head down the hill here to number 9 stop shortly, down the wee brae here. Number 9 is for a car park really. Number 9. So you'll be rewarded with another fine castle view down here. We're just going to look at the western edge of it. And even in this tiny fraction of it all, there's quite a new structure. There's quite old buildings and there's extremely old buildings, which I think just amplifies what I said about our inability to date the whole castle, let alone this wee bit. So So the rock there, that position of safety, really volcanic about 340 million years ago. So defensive activities, those folks were really technical sailing, the next lead on. There was nothing else in this area at all. So you could obviously see someone riding to attack your castle from miles and miles away. There's only one way into the castle, which I'll show you shortly in the Esplanade. The castle topped no less than 2 million visitors for the year 2017, so by a long, long way it's the busiest paid attraction in the whole earth. Approaching the castle stop, folks, number 10. We will stop at this one automatically, so please don't panic. Please don't get up till we get there, it's terribly bumpy on the way around. So adjacent to the castle is Camera Obscura and the Outlook Tower, Tartan Weaving Mill and Scotch Whisky Experience. There's not a lot to see up here as we rejoin the Royal Mile. This time one of the upper sections, not surprisingly, called the lawn market in this case. Lawn, possibly a type of cloth we got from France, northern France. So that might be the derivation of the name for this one. So give us a minute, it's awfully altered. Through the junction is the famous St Giles High Kirk or Church of Scotland. So effectively it's not a cathedral. Because it's Church of Scotland, we don't do cathedrals in the Church of Scotland, simple as that. It looks like a cathedral, it was twice in the 17th century, a cathedral, so no wonder people call it. Ahead of us as we turn here, a gorgeous building that used to house the Bank of Scotland headquarters. Today I'm afraid the Bank of Scotland is just a mere shell of what it once was. The banking crisis hit the Scottish banks very seriously, or perhaps I should say the Scottish banks caused the banking crisis quite seriously. She's going faster than we are. Huh?
That's the way to do it.
She's going quicker than us round there. I'll get the ramp here.
Charlotte's about a red light. What do you think of our tour so far?
To be fair, the guy could be a bit better, and it's just a matter of fact. It's not quick enough. So yeah.
I think he's a good laugh though.
To be honest,
He's a good laugh.
needs a wacky sense of humour.
Wacky sense of humour.
Not a wacky, a whack.
A whack. Does he need a whack? Or a walk? What do you think, Karen? What do you think of the tour so far? Good. You look tired. Yeah. Well, it's really hot in Scotland today, so guys, but it's unusual. What is it, 21 degrees? It's 21 degrees.
Heading to the Georgian
We're not
New
used to
Town
this.
for the
We're
last
not used to
part
this
of the
weather
tour,
up
folks. A complete difference to the medieval old that we'll just have a wee look at.
Beautiful, eh?
So George in Edinburgh reflects the fact that the Georges were on the throne, not least George III, the longest reigning of them. We're not unique, there are loads of Georgian towns all over the place. I'm sure you've heard of the likes of Bath, for example, in the southwest of England. So if you want number 11, press the bell now or forever don't press the bell. Princess Street here, like most effective high streets, is dying the death due to the internet and the out-of-town shopping malls. There's been talk just recently that the only, I suppose, sustainable future for Princess Street might well be as private residences again. So from 1770 it was just that, so maybe by 2070 it will be that again. So what goes around will be an almighty come around 300 years later. So there's loads of space, as you probably see already, a complete contrast to the old town. Wide streets, low-rise buildings, loads of greenery as well. We still really are lucky to have that greenery. I suppose you could say it was bequeathed to us by our Georgian friends. Going to go on to George Street here. George Street was part of our financial heartbeat. Edinburgh used to be the largest financial institution after London in this country, and only after London and Frankfurt throughout Europe. Our Georgian friends loved their social lives. Ahead left of the flagpoles was the place to be seen and socialise, the assembly rooms and music hall of the 1780s onwards. So if you got a ticket to an event here or got invited here, that was you starting to climb the social ladder. You had to be pretty wealthy, you see, to buy a townhouse in Edinburgh, say 1780s, the equivalent today of what, £1 million plus. So in other words, you were the idle rich, because you really didn't need to work, although it would appear in Edinburgh some of the Georgians worked for a hobby. I don't quite get my head around that, but never mind. So that's why they became obsessed with society, barely stood in society. Who never seen it? Just ahead left by the white flag, you'll maybe see the little lighthouse flashing away. That marks out the headquarters of the Commissioners of the Northern Lighthouse Board. Today every single lighthouse around the coast of Scotland and the Isle of Man is controlled from that building. Up you. One, 2, 7, that's just over there, isn't it? That's a wee bit fun. What about the stop just before Charlotte Square, Dave? Aye, we'll let you off there. It's alright. Don't tell anyone, just. So this chunk of George Street on the left here built on the tontine principle. This was where a lot of you would invest in its construction, and you would get a lot of the income from rentals, and then the last guy still breathing inherited it all. I shall return. So you get very close to the Church of Scotland headquarters, you know. So number 12 stop just round the other side of Charlotte Square here in a couple of minutes, guys, if you want that one. Just press a bell and we'll pull up for you. This is Charlotte Square. This is the home of the Georgian House, one of your discounted visitor attractions with your first ticket. Lovely square. Evidently it's the best preserved Georgian square in Europe according to experts, so let's go with it. So we're at the west end of the city centre effectively here. And this will be our last stop before we go back to the city centre. Wow, look at that tree in the middle. That's just come out the last couple of days. What's that? Any idea? Any arborists? If you like that, Dave, arborists. What, do you know what it is? It looks like a tree, doesn't it? The purple one, isn't it lovely? On the placards. Oh, there's Mr. Lamont. He's been dead for 200 years. Look at him. He's looking well. Hello, Mr. Lamont. How are you? He owned it in 1780. Look at him. My God. You're looking well, sir. What do you think, eh? I don't think he's getting much in the way of waves up there, so I'll do it down here now. And V1 Black Door is the official residence of the First Minister of our Scottish Parliament, one Nicola Sturgeon at the present time. You've always got to say that with political personalities, currently, at the moment, at the present time, because it might all change tomorrow. The lamps here were lit only if you wanted to encourage someone to come and visit you. Again, Social George in Edinburgh. Tucked in the corner, front left, the monument's to a lady, and that's why I'm mentioning it. It's to a lady called Catherine Sinclair. It's not the press secretary that you girls have exactly 23 monuments and statues throughout the land. The men have got hundreds, of course. So it is an imbalance. I appreciate that. It should be addressed for this sake. The 1970s monstrosity on the right was covered in scaffolding last year at this time. Another naively, I thought we were going to rejoin the Georgian elements here. As you can see, I couldn't have been further from the truth, and they've simply refurbished the 1970s horror. To me, that's an opportunity well and truly missed, sadly missed. Queen Street Gardens on the left here, 17 acres all the way along. Probably not many people in them, despite it. Oh, there's a few in, it's busy today. Generally there's hardly anybody in there, no matter what. So Dave's taking us towards Hanover Street very shortly. This represents the Hanoverian dynasty who were ruling Great Britain from 1714 following the death of Queen Anne. Queen Anne was the last of the Stuart line, and all her children predeceased her, so we didn't have someone to take the throne on. We get to the next stop here. Do you want to sit down for safety? Can you sit down, please? Hello, Huey, hiya. Can you sit down, please? Can you sit down, please? Of all those Hanoverian kings, I think George III had the greatest impact. He certainly ruled the longest, albeit he did have a mental ailment, and that. You're bored, but at least let's get off the bus before you what it was, we're not entirely sure. Porphyria has been suggested and rejected. Bipolar was then also suggested and rejected. And now we're talking schizophrenia, but I don't know if that's right, to be honest with you. So it's ended up with him being labelled historically as the Mad King. Number 13 stop, Hanover Street, Princess Street ahead, George Street behind. Thank you, bye-bye. So we're going to head up the mound, the debris from the New Town simply dumped here. Beyond the Royal Scottish Academy, the National Gallery of Scotland, that's a cracker and is free. All the big artistic masters are represented in there. So we're going to make our way back to the Waverley area just a wee moment here. We'll stop at number 14, do a wee crew change, and then the bus will go down to number 1 at Waverley Bridge to restart the tour again. It's due out again at 3:42, which is just about 10 minutes from now. So when we get down to number 14 stop, feel free to leave if you want to, or if you'd rather stay aboard and do some more of the tour, equally suit yourself on that one. The bus will stop for a few minutes, and then once there's space on Waverley Bridge, the bus will head round for its next departure, I say, at 3:42. Remember, the last bus tonight is at 5:50 on this particular route. We're off again in the morning from a very precise 6 minutes past 9. Dave, thank you. That seemed to be a tricky drive round, didn't it? Team stop. Thank you and bye-bye.
Okay guys, catch us on the next one. Bye for now.
Let's just get my silent disco. You get the headset, you start dancing, but it's not the mood. You should make it please. Oh my god, I definitely love it. Oh my god. What's all one? See what it's all about? This is just brilliant. Ludicrous. They almost get full of space with their so fun. Well, you do not see that every day. Not only is it a silent disco, it's a moving silent disco.